Anyway, I'm playing quite popular build. So what you gonna do when you're playing Indonesia? Of course, you're gonna settle next to those reefs and build some campuses. Also, why Indonesia is so popular? Because it's basically a free Pantheon civ. It is way better to scout with that one charge builder than just build galleys, but still you have to build granaries because you're opening with a campus. Regular reefs, look at this, it's plus 5, plus 6 campuses. I decided, screw it. I'll just replace districts as soon as possible and will save some production this way without making it overcomplicated build order. On top of that, thanks to early granaries, my second city is a 5 pops and third city is 4 pops already, so I'm super ready to replace harbors and build them. Because I'm playing Indonesia with campuses, it's reasonable to aim for Paintbrush and Voice, and I'm playing Moksha. Hello and welcome boys and girls. This time I'm playing Indonesia. As always, I'm using better balanced game and better balanced mods that commonly used for multiplayer games, and on top of that I'm using real strategy AI. I tried to play Indonesia with a late game AI, but it's basically impossible because by the time you reach Jongs, your opponents most likely will have ironclads. So I turned off late game AI, and it turned out that real strategy AI is not that powerful mod as I thought. Anyway, I'm playing quite popular build which you might see in a 4v4 games. Of course, I will do some tiny mistakes with this because I've never played Indonesia and I hate this civ because as I see Indonesia, it's a naval Poland which super strong on a certain timings and kinda weak during the game. This is an archipelago map and I'm starting on a superly good piece of land with a lot of reef fishes and nice campuses. So what you gonna do when you're playing Indonesia? Of course you're gonna settle next to those reefs and build some campuses. But at first, because I'm playing not a multiplayer but single player game, I have to deal with barbarians, couple of trick moves and we're done, but there are 2 more barbarian scouts on our land, so we have to clear them. As always, after you kill barbarian camps, all those scouts will be aggressive and will try to attack anything they see, so it's quite dangerous to go outside with your settlers without clearing them. But luckily for me, it's super easy to do, so I just fortified my units and expecting that those barbarians will just kill themselves hitting my city or a warrior. While doing so, we reach Code of Laws and I'm using urban planning policy cards and of course discipline because we're fighting barbarians. Also, why Indonesia is so popular? Because it's basically a free Pantheon civ. I already have Pantheon. In most cases, in 99% of cases, it's a god of the fish, god of the sea. So your coastal cities generate good amount of faith, they'll get extra production from those fish tile improvements. So it's awesome Pantheon for Indonesia, and basically that's the one of the reasons why Indonesia is taken. It's a free Pantheon and a good early game tempo. And of course option possibility that you might have extremely strong campuses as I am. Another some sort of tricky move for Indonesia is you're open with a builder because you'd like to improve fish, and after you improve it you almost immediately get a Pantheon with an extra production on that improved tiles, and you can scout with this builder by sea. It is way better to scout with that one charge builder than just build galleys because you have a better tempo in simming, and if you find any huts you can take them with a builder because he can disembark. Another cool thing with Indonesia, and this is maybe the only reason I like this civ, is granary opening. It might be not from the very first turn when you settle city, but still you have to build granaries because you're opening with the campuses. Unlike Australia, which has extra housing, you don't. So you have to be sure your city can grow to 4 pops so you can build harbors later. It seems quite weird and quite obvious, but anyway, people are skipping granaries constantly for Indonesia, and I don't know why. So I'm not sure when you have to build those granaries. I assume it's your first building in non-freshwater coastal cities. So I built them. We finally met someone else, it's Dido. We boosted writing, opened it, and we're about to pre-place campuses, and it's extremely strong campuses. In half of the games, maybe a bit less, you'll have those campuses because of the reef fishes, turtles, and other things that contain reefs, or just regular reefs. Look at this, it's +5, +6 campuses, and they will serve you well. If you have this amount of early game science, you can rush Caravillas or you can rush Niter. So it doesn't really matter for you what you do. You're outsimming, in the terms of science, all of your other naval opponents. That's the good part. The bad part is you might play against tricky guys who knows your weaknesses about great admirals. So in most cases, your opponents like Dido will build Cathons and will take early game admirals, and what is most important thing, they can take medieval Renaissance admirals, and I remind you that Jongs are a medieval unit, so you have to chop at least one admiral for Jongs. Luckily for me, I didn't have to do this because AI somehow is so dumb they don't even build Cathons or any other unique districts. Talking about AI strength, right? But when you play multiplayer, you have to somehow build harbor earlier and make some projects to get medieval Renaissance admiral. Not because of Caravillas, but because of Jongs, because Jongs are medieval unit, and if you miss those admirals, you won't be able to operate Jongs as good as with an admiral. It's obvious thing, right? So what is going on right now in the game? I'm settling, I have 3 cities already, I'm about to open early empire, and as you can see I have place for another city. It's a good thing to have 4 cities. You can have 3 if you don't have a good spot, but I have a good spot right on that hill next to the river. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to build another settler, settle that river, and I'll have 4 initial campuses with a +4 adjacency bonus or more. That's extremely good campuses. Not every game you will have these campuses that easy. As you can see, I have replaced campuses in all of my cities, finished my current task, and they'll build them. Because when you're replacing district, their price is locked, and as earlier you replace district, then as cheaper it will be. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure it out how to get a discount. I tried a few times and timings are not good. It's either way too few culture or way too few science, so you can actually build discounted harbors and discounted governor plaza. It is because you open not 2 but 3 districts in early game. It's a Holy Site, harbor, and campus, and you build 3 campuses, so you have very tiny period of time, very tiny timings when you can actually replace at least one discounted harbor. So I decided, screw it, I'll just replace districts as soon as possible and will save some production this way without making it overcomplicated build order. I'm sure that pro players or better players than me can build those discounted harbors. I just don't know how to do it, and I don't want to spend an entire weekend figuring it out. So no discount build order this time. That might affect your gameplay a bit, but nothing crucial. If you're willing to play with your friends on a weekend and you want to show off, you can play without a discount, because most likely they are not even aware of that discount options. Another good thing about Indonesia, I have to admit it, you might just rush shipbuilding. So it helps you with settlings. You might build unique improvement if you need it for a golden age. So you can secure golden age easily. It's a really cool option for you to secure golden age on archipelago maps, which is quite hard to achieve, I have to admit that. Not forget, you must build 2 galleys to boost shipbuilding. I'm building those galleys quite late. you can do it a bit earlier. But even if you have built them late, as I am, you always have an option to buy galleys with a faith. This might be the best part of Indonesia because unlike England, when you just get boats, when you're building Royal Navy dockyard, Indonesia can buy them when you actually need them and at that specific moment when you need them, at that specific city when you need them. So it's kinda hard to surprise Indonesia with an early game galley rush or even the horseman rush. Somehow I thought it's okay idea to just build few galleys and save some faith for Wajirima so I can have more chonkas, but now I think it is better to build libraries and monuments than just waste your time on building galleys that you can just buy with a face. That is one of those tiny mistakes I made that briefly affects the game, but few briefly mistakes might combine into a big one. So it's kinda cool idea to review your game after you finished it and memorize all those tiny mistakes that you can improve on the next run. As you can see, right now that is bought right next to my city, but I already have some galleys there, so even if it was a multiplayer game, I had an option to protect this city. Of course, I would never place city like that in a multiplayer game because it's too easy to take it, but against AIs, it is okay place to settle city. Because I'm playing normal speed, you can see I'm surveyed half of the map and found wonders and boosted astrology. That's kinda cool. I specifically delayed it, so maybe I can find wonder and I was 90% sure that I will. So now it's only 4 turns till Celestial Navigation until I can build harbors. On top of that, thanks to early granaries, my second city is a 5 pops and third city is 4 pops already, so I'm super ready to replace harbors and build them. Finally, a golden age. Because I'm playing Indonesia with campus sets, it's reasonable to aim for Paintbrush and Voice and I'm playing Moksha. So I can reach mercenaries in about the same timing I'll reach caravels. It's kinda risky to play and if necessary you can speed up your caravels timing, but keep in mind that if you rush caravels you are not able to reach mercenaries in time and you have to spend 2 times more gold to upgrade them. And if your opponent is rushing caravels as well and he upgraded them and you still have couple of turns to build pre-builds, just do so, because the more pre-builds you have, the more caravels you can upgrade. That is why it is kinda almost impossible to rush someone with caravels timing without good set of admirals. But even with an admiral, you barely can one-shot galley pre-build. On top of that, if you're rushing caravels, you'll have less culture, so no press guns policy card for you, which is in exploration civic. So rushing caravels is kinda okay, it might deal some damage, but I'm not quite sure that this can bring you a victory, instant victory in the game. That is why, even though I can reach caravels quite fast, I'm not really rushing them because I'm Indonesia, I want to have jonks, I want to have mercenaries, and I'm boosting culture as much as I can. And here is another tiny mistake I made. I haven't built monuments in every single city. Right now, I have most of my culture thanks to the pen, brush and voice, and it's okay thing to do to finish districts before monuments, but you still have to build them because you need to reach mercenaries. Another cool thing that most naval civs can't afford or avoiding is Classical Republic. I don't know is this a thing in a multiplayer, but this time I picked Classical Republic as soon as I got political philosophy. That will boost my city growth thanks to additional housing and the extra amenities. But as soon as I will finish Governor Plaza and be ready to finish tier 1 Governor Plaza building, I should switch to Oligarchy and get Oligarchic Legacy because as a naval civ, you'd like to have that +4 extra strength on your naval melee units. This is the crucial policy card for all naval civs, and if you skip it, you're probably gonna have a bad time. Because naval combat is a brutal thing, you can't just fortify units and hope for the best. You must outflank, you must overspam, and if you can get extra military strength, you must take it. So, oligarchic legacy or oligarchy itself, and of course, printing is the most important things you must have when playing naval civ. And of course, the most desirable admiral right now is Francis Drake. It's a tier 3 admiral, and it gives you +3 combat strength with all naval units. That's massive. In vanilla, it's Rajendra Chola, but PPG team swaps their abilities, so we won't have situation where all naval seas just chopping entire continent to just get the admiral. That is how important he is. There was a quite weird meta where you build nothing but projects just in attempt to get that admiral, and when you get it, it's basically a victory condition for you, or at least you can dominate C, and in the late game you will nuke all your opponents. Nowadays it's a bit different, and Rajendra Chola gives you privateer, which also can be abused by England civilization because of a unique privateer unit. But for this specific run, when I'm playing as Indonesia, I just can't aim admirals, and I already explained you why, because we're open with a campus building. And with a good amount of science and good number of builders, we can reach maybe industrialization and improve all hails what we have, but it's still not enough to generate good amount of production. So basically, our strategy is to rush junks, rush caravels, build a massive fleet and wipe out everyone while we are strong. And that is what I'm planning to do. I'm about to open recorded history, so I would use scripture policy cards with double our science income with adjacency campus bonuses. On top of that, I discovered two blue city states and I have one in vote in each of them. In this situation, now, I think it is better for me to finish libraries and finish monuments instead of finishing harbors. This build order leads to a better science and culture income, so I can open mercenaries and caravels earlier, and of course military engineering, which allows me to gain some niter for Jongs. And if you don't know, BBG mods nerfed Indonesia so hard that Jongs required a niter. As I remember, in vanilla they need no niter, so you can just rush them and dominate archipelago map easily. But here the thing's a bit different, and that is why we need a lot of science, because if you have no allies like in 4v4, you must open military engineering yourself. But for now, somehow I think that having few harbors is okay. Besides that, I really need to take Great Admiral, so extra Admiral points is kinda good things to have. I'm still surveying everywhere I can, and I found all enemies on this map. It's Dido, Vicky, and Wilhelmina. Somehow, even those are 4 naval civs with a strong bonuses and 2 unique harbor districts, they don't have that many admiral points, and you might laugh, but they're opening with Holy Sight. I think without late game AI is just playing classical Holy Sight, Holy War. They do no matter civs you take, no matter what bonuses your civ have, it's still Holy Sight first. It's always a Holy War. And I don't know what to do against that, because you don't really want to fight Holy War, so you just have to be careful in what you're conquering, because in some point of the game you just might randomly lose the game because one AI just convert every single other AI, or it converts your cities, you annihilate two others AI, and it's like your entire empire is converted and you lost. That's the classical new player mistake. We all done this. We all lost this way to a religious civ, and there is no shame about it, but you should always remember how to deal with it. If you haven't installed late game AIs, I believe that won't be a problem because somehow with the late game I have crazy loyalty stats. That's kind of weird because AI generates so many loyalty that you can't hold cities and you have to burn them, raise them, you don't have too few cities, and a religious victory might happen, so just be careful about that. From another hand, you don't have to worry about admirals because they just won't build any harbors, even though it's unique half-price harbor. That's really cool. Now I'm abusing this, so I don't have to chop harbors, I don't have to chop projects. I just get that admirals mostly passively. Of course, we'll do some projects later on, but I don't need to worry about it. Like, it's not a big deal when you're playing against AIs. Well, that's it for today, boys and girls. Thanks a lot for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, sub and leave a comment below the video. All these actions will help this video and the channel to grow. Sending you positive vibes, stay safe, much love, and see you tomorrow.